Hey guys, it's E with Scrapbooking with me, and today we are absolutely going to do something that I haven't done on my channel in many years. I couldn't even tell you how many years. I've done them before in the past, and some of them I did a video on, some of them I didn't. I just did them. But I was searching around for something else that I wanted to do and start a new project because I've got some of the journals finished. I think I only like two, and they're ones that came in just last month. So I'm working on those, but I wanted something a little bit new to get started with. So I thought I would start on this project. And what we're going to do today, and if you have never done one of these, I am not an expert, but I have my own way of doing it, and I will tell you my way, and then I will show you videos and things, and I'll give you some links to other people who do these all the time. So where I went for some inspiration is, as usual, Skillshare. And I found quite a bit of inspiration over there. I watched some videos by Karen Dawn. She does a lot of altering books, and I think she's got a YouTube channel if I'm not mistaken. If I can find it, I'll link it below as well. I'll put a clip up here of what I watched. But I did her class, one of her classes. I didn't have time to do all of them, but I did one, and I plan on watching 2 or 3 more. So Skillshare, that's my go-to, as you guys know. And I want to thank Skillshare for sponsoring this video. As you guys know, like once a month, I do a Skillshare dedicated video, and they pay me a little bit of money to do this, and they sponsor it, and I appreciate that because every little bit comes in handy these days. And I hope you guys don't mind. I don't do a lot of sponsored videos, but every now and then I do, and I absolutely only do it with companies that I particularly use and like. So thank you, Skillshare, for sponsoring another one of my videos. And now Skillshare is the largest online learning community with thousands of creative classes in countless categories, ranging from journal making, card making, Canva, Photoshop, art illustration, graphic design, altering books, journal making. I mean, it's tons. I think I already said journal making twice, didn't I? But I mean, there are tons out there. Painting, you can take painting classes and drawing classes, anything that you want to learn. Now, these classes are taught by industry experts. They're not taught by just somebody who decided to stick a video on there. They are taught by industry experts with a learn by doing approach. So you can do it along with them, and then you can even send a little copy of what you have done into the instructor, and they can kind of give you some tips and tricks on it, or you can just do it on your own. I can do a class, and then I can stop and do something else, and then I can go back and take another one, and I just do learn by doing. That's the way it goes. So if you would like to join me in learning from Skillshare, then be one of the first 500 people to use my link in the description, or you can scan the QR code right here on the screen, and you will receive 1 month free trial to Skillshare. So you got to be one of the first 500 though, so make sure you get down there and click that link now. Pause the video, go click the link, or scan the QR code. Go ahead and sign up for that. Get your 1 month free, and then you can come back and finish watching the video. Okay, let's get started. So I chose a Reader's Digest first. I wanted to show 2 different ways. Now, some people say you'll watch their video and they will say you can't use anything but the pages, books that have pages that have been glued in. Then you'll hear some people say, don't use glued in pages, you got to use the ones that are sewn in. And I say you can use either one because I have one that's glued in here, the Reader's Digest. Most all your Reader's Digests are glued in, but I have one that's glued in, and then I have one that was sewn in. The only thing that I say that you need to particularly watch for is to make sure that your spine of your book and where the pages join, make sure that's really secure. because if it's a wobbly spine, once you make it, it's going to be a wobbly journal. So make sure of that. Now this was a very old Reader's Digest. Let me see if I can see what year. It had some pretty fragile pages in it. 1989. That's not real old, but it's old enough. But the pages are pretty fragile. So instead of doing like I normally do, I left 3 pages and then I tore out 10. So what you would do is you would go in here. I always leave this one, and then this one glues to it because it's one that's already kind of glued in there at the bottom. And then I leave this one, and then usually a couple, if this is fragile, which these pages are, then I usually leave a couple more to kind of glue together to make these a little bit sturdier, because you don't want a real fragile page. So I leave probably 3. Let's see, I left, yeah, I think I left 3, and then I tore out 10. So I tore out 10. Now what you will see on your journal, or what you will see on your books that have the glued in signatures, it's when you tear them out, it's not going to be pretty in there, because they're not going to tear great. And the further you get back toward the back, the worse it's going to be. So what I do to hide that, you can do many things, but what I do is I take this page and I make this a little pocket, folding that down. Don't fold it all the way up to the spine, because if you do, then you're going to have problems with your book. But then I fold that and I glue this down through here and down through here, and I make this a pocket. Now, let me tell you something else on these. Don't lay your page down this way and glue, because if you do, you will have this. Can you see that? See how this one is sticking out further than this one? You're going to have to put your glue on. Let's just go ahead and do this one. Now on this, if you've got real thick pages, you can tear this off so that you won't have a lot of bulk. My pages are not thick, so I am going to glue this. I'm going to glue this down, and I'm just going to show you. I've got lots more to tell you, but I just want to show you on this one, because I want you guys to get a book and do this and follow along with me. You don't have to follow along on this video, but follow along on the next one. This one's just going to be mostly prep. Okay, so I glued that down, and now I'm going to put my glue right down through here and across the bottom. Okay. Now, if I take this and just, let me grab this other page here, and excuse my fingernails because I've got all kinds of stuff on them, and they're clean, but they're just colored. Now, if I take this and just push it over to here and glue it down, I'm going to have, this page is going to stick out further. So you want to hold your pages up and glue them together. You want to hold them up. And you may still have a little bit, just because you tore out all of those others. You may still have a little bit of a difference here, but it won't be as much as if you laid that down and glued it. And see, that lays nice and flat. You do have a tiny bit, but it's not like 1/4 of an inch like it was. And then just make sure that you press it down well. These pages are pretty fragile, so I'm just going to make sure that they glue down. I don't really care that if they match up perfectly or not. Now, if you're just taking 2 pages, let's just say this one. If I'm just taking 2 pages that are right together and gluing them together, then they won't have a difference there. You see, I can glue those 2 together either this way or that way, and they're not going to have a difference. It's only when you glue 2 together that have a separation, that have a lot of space in there between them, that you're going to have a little bit of an issue, but it's not going to be anything that you can't fix. Plus, it's going to hide, and I don't glue mine with that art glitter glue. I'll show you in a minute what I glue with. Plus, you're going to hide this. But now, if you don't want to do that, if you don't want to fiddle with this little bit of difference, you can glue it to this page over here, and then you can use something else to hide that. You can put washi tape in there or whatever. plenty of ways that you can hide that. So if you don't want to fuss with this part and make it to where it'll fold both ways, which is kind of difficult, I'll tell you, because if I glue that down, even if I glue it like that, when I flip it over here, I've got a little bit of a difference going there. So if you don't want to fool with that, then glue it on this side, and then you won't have to worry about it. But that's one tip, big tip there. Okay, so let's see, what else was I going to tell you? Okay, then you can go through here. Now on these, I'm going to glue at least 2 pages together because, like I said, these pages are fragile. They're just real brittle. So if I glued those 2 together, I may even glue 3 together at some points, but not all the time. And then I would take this one and I would make another pocket out of. And this one is where I tore out some pages. Now, another thing you can do right here, you can fiddle with it and you can probably pull most of that out, or you can take your little X-Acto knife and go down through there and get a lot of it out. But, you know me, I don't fiddle with a lot of that stuff. So I would probably glue that like that and make this into a side tuck pocket. So I'd glue down through here and make it into a little side tuck pocket. So that should work pretty good. Now what I use when I'm gluing these pages together and the whole 9 yards, through all the book mainly, you can use your glue stick if you want to. These pages are so brittle, I don't know if my glue stick, it might end up tearing some of the pages. Now, using a book that has a lot of brittle pages is not a great idea, but I didn't want to discard this cover. I love that cover, and I didn't want to really just tear out all these pages and use them, so I thought I would give it a go. But it's better if you have some books, and I think this one, let me look. I think, yeah, this one has some pretty good pages. They're nice and strong, so you wouldn't have to really worry too much about that one. A lot of the Reader's Digest are not real strong pages, but sometimes you'll run up on one that is. I think this one is another one. Let's see. Now this one has strong pages. You see the difference in the pages? Look at the difference in the coloration. And they're probably, let's see if they were pretty close together. 1972. This one's actually older than this one, but look at the difference in the pages. And these are nice strong pages. So you wouldn't have to glue, but you could glue 2 of those together, but you wouldn't even have to do that. So it just depends on your book. But I wanted to do this one just to give it a go and see what happens. So that's what I decided to do. So basically what we're going to do is like I said, this is going to be our prep video. On the next video, we'll go through, glue pages together, make our pockets, all of that all the way back. And then we'll come back and we'll start decorating. So take your book, whether you have one that you tear, one that is glued together, or whether you have one that the spine's glued or that is sewn, and I'll show you this one in a minute. Take either one you want and just start doing this. Now these, I think I'll glue those 3 together. That'll be that, and then those first 3. And then I'm probably going to glue those 2 together because I don't particularly want that image in there. So then I skip 3, and then I tear out 10. Now this also depends on how thick your book is. If your book is not as thick as this, then don't take out 10. You may need to take out 6. On this one, I only took out 3. So it's going to depend on how thick your book is. This was very thick, so I took out 10. And then I skipped 3 again. 1, 2, 3. No, maybe I skipped 4. I skipped 4 on that one. And the reason I did is because the pages are so brittle, and I wanted to make sure I had enough in here, enough strength in here to put, at least make me a good pocket and glue some pages together. So I skipped 4, I tore out 10. And then I skipped 4 and I tore out 10. So you can see I've got a little thing going there, but I can get rid of that if I don't want to make it into a pocket or pocket over it. So there you go, tore out 10. So, and a lot of times you may get back and you find an image and you're like, oh, I don't want to tear that one out. And it's on that page that you need to tear out. Just skip it. You don't have to tear. You don't have to be so precise. As long as you get to the point where your book looks similar to this and you don't have more torn out in the front than you do in the back. You know, like this one right here looks like I don't have, let's see, let's just look back here at the back. And like I said, when you get back toward the back on these that are glued, it's harder to tear without getting just a lot of junk left in there. Now I skipped 3 and tore out 10. Okay. So some of this I can get rid of. Some of it I can use my X-Acto and get rid of. But with X-Acto knife, you got to be real careful, especially on these brittle pages. So yeah, that's that on that one. When I got close to the back, this was like I tore out 10 and then I skipped, let's see, I skipped 3, tore out 10, and then I just left these last 4 pages because I can always glue those together or glue 2 of them together and make a pocket or whatever. So that's what I did on the Reader's Digest. So you can do that. If all you've got is a Reader's Digest, you can use it. If all you've got is books that are that have the sewn-in signatures like this, you can use those too. Believe me, you can. I have done this before. So what you would need to do on these, number one, you make sure that your spine, even though this is an older book, the spine is in good shape. It's not torn down through here. Make sure your spine's in good shape. I will skip that page and that page because you can see they glue together. They're glued together down at the bottom. And then I don't really mind that image being there, but I do want to get rid of, this is a 1915. I do want to get rid of those two, so I might glue those together and then kind of cover a little of this. I might not cover all of that. And then what I did was I started, this is your first signature right here, as you can tell. See how it's, you can kind of pick it up. That's a signature. It's just a group of pages that the company used to stitch by, just like I do. They put the signature together and they stitch in there, and they put another signature together and they stitch. Some of them have lots and lots of signatures. Some of them don't have that many. This one didn't have but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 signatures in it. And you can see them right there, how they're signatured together. So I went to the center. Find your center, and you can always tell that it's your center because the stitching is right there. As you can see, mine actually had a really good thing because the middle stitch was orange. So, and I went to the center of my signature and I tore out 3. So I just picked up 3 pages like that, and I tore them out. And you'll know that you've got the same 3 because it'll look like this. If I had this one, you know, if I had 4 on this side, it would look like that. See? So I went to the center. Let's go to the center again. Now, if you've got a book that's really, really stitched tight, sometimes it's a little bit harder to find, but you can find it. You just have to keep flipping. There we go. There's the center, and I tore out 3. So I just picked up 1, 2, 3 on this side, and then I did like this. I made sure by doing like this. See, I've got my 3 there. They would come out together. And then you just pull easily. You don't want to break that thread. So you just kind of pull until it pops, and it'll pop. Let me show you. I think this one is a sewn. Is this one sewn? Yeah, this one's a sewn in one. Okay, hold on. Let me look. Let me find the middle of something. This one's sewn tight because it's got so many in it, but I think we can find it. And sometimes they'll have 20 and 30 pages to a signature. Oh, I got a treat in that one. A lot of times it's easier for me to do like this and find the center. Okay. Oh, this one's a big signature. Hold on. Hold the horses. There it is, right there. Okay. So if you kind of pull it back, and I always kind of do my book like that, you see those stitches, then you can see it. So what I would do is I would take one. This one I would probably take more pages, but I'm just going to show you for instance. 2, 3. That's 3. That should be 3 right there. See? This can fold over either way, and I don't have an extra page sticking up there. And then I pull straight out, easily pull, and you can hear them. They pop loose. And this one is stitched with 4 strings. Now, if you take too many out of here, these strings will get real loose. So I try not to take more than I have to. And then I kind of look at my signature and I just make sure that it still looks nice and tight, and it does. It still looks nice and tight. Those strings will tighten up when we go through here. If they don't, if they still are loose like this, put some washi tape down through there or glue them or something to tighten them back up, and it'll be fine. The people who tell you that you can't do the stitch books because it makes it too thin and it makes it too brittle and it makes it too loose and it falls apart, they're taking too many pages out is the reason it does. And then they're not reinforcing if they need to. Now you can't get in the back of here and fix their strings, but you can fix them on this side by, like I said, either putting a little really strong washi down through there to hold those strings. You could even put a piece of tape down through there, put some PVA glue down through there and let it dry to hold those strings down in place, and your signature will be tightened up. And then I would go to my next signature, which is going to be right there. See that signature? And then I would choose 3 more. Oh, this book's never even been read. Look at that. Those are still stuck together. Never even been read. That's pretty bad. Okay, there's 3. So let's put that. I'm going to have to cut these in 2. Yep, I'm going to have to cut these 2. Because they're still stuck together. Before they trim these books, you know, they make them before they trim them, all the pages are stuck together like that because they print them like this in a fold. I won't say all of them do, but a lot of them, the companies that I've seen do that. And then I'm pulling 3 out, and there is my pages again. Now these pages, make sure you keep, because these are good pages to put in your other journals. See how they're still glued together, not glued together, they're still stuck together, because when they printed this, and look at this, this has got 4 together. When they printed this, they printed it like this. So, you know, it's still got nice stuck together. So it's still nice pages to use in your journal. So make sure you keep those. But that would be how you, now this actually, no it didn't fall out. So that would be how you would take pages out of the ones that are stitched like that. And that would be also how you would reinforce if your strings are getting loose. Just reinforce them, pull them up tight. You know, take your strings right here, pull them out tight as you can get them. That tightens up your signature again. Put some strong tape down through there. You can use some of the, let's see, here it is. You can use some of this tape. This is the, what's this called again? I can't even remember what this is called, but this is a tape that has like woven material through it. I can't remember what that's called, but if I do remember, I'll put it right here on the screen. But use that, or use your packing tape, or use washi tape and put a lot of glue behind it. Put it down through there. Or put a glob of glue down through there and leave your book open until it dries. That'll tighten these strings back up, okay? So that's how you can do that in a book that has the stitching. Now, to tear these out in a book that has the glued pages. It's a little bit more tedious, but it can be done. Okay, so I'm going to start here. Those 2 pages I keep because they're kind of already stuck together. This page and this page, I would glue those together because I don't mind this image. And then that would probably be my first page. Kind of like that too. I don't know. Sometimes I want to keep more than... I'm going to skip those 2. And then I'm going to tear out 10. So I would pull them, pull this as open as I could get it and tear that out. And you see, they're still not going to tear out great. But you can get it. You just have to kind of pull instead of tear. Instead of doing like this, just pull on them. And see, sometimes they'll pull all the way down to where they're glued. But then sometimes you get them and they tear off funky like that. But it depends on how well they're glued, whether they pull off good or not. So take out 10. How many have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And don't try to tear a bunch at once because you'll mess up, believe me. 8, 9. Oh, that one came out good. And 10. And then I skip. I'm going to skip 3. You can always go back and tear one out if you've got if you skip too many. But I'd rather have one in there that I need to take out is one in there that it's not to have one in there at all. So, 4. This one's tearing out much easier than the other one did. 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't know if I counted that right or not, but we're close enough. Oh, that's a cute image. 1, 2, 3. Now, if you didn't want that image, you can tear it out, or you can fold it over and make a pocket. And then just tear again. On these this thick, I tear 10 out in between the 3. But like I said, it all depends on how thick your book is. Okay, so what we're going to do, I'm going to go back to this one. Is this the one I started with? No. I'm going to go back to the Reader's Digest one that I was wanting to start with. And I'm going to glue these 2 pages together. Now what I use is PVA glue. I will link this below. It's pH neutral PVA. It's ideal for bookbinding, paper projects, anything. But I use this stuff. And you can see I use it a lot because I'm out. Almost. I don't have anything right here on my desk to put it on. I can put it on my mat here because this is waterproof, glue-proof and waterproof. So let's just see if I can get some stuff out of my way here. Let me find a paintbrush first before I even pour that out because I'm going to need a paintbrush. And I have one right here. I think. Yeah, I have one right here. So just take a paintbrush, and I don't use my fancy paintbrushes. Woo! I think I poured out a little bit too much. But I don't use my fancy paintbrushes because sometimes if you're working with this a long time, your paintbrush is just going to be ruined. So I use just one. This is like a, what is this? This is, I don't even know where I got this. I think I bought them in a bulk pack or something. Now, these pages are going to be very, very dry because this is an older book and you can see how brittle they are, so they're going to be dry. They're going to soak up a lot of this. Now, if you've got some pages that are real, real dry and you want to spritz them a little bit, you can. Just use your water, use your little spritzer and spritz them. That'll keep them from tearing when you put your glue on them. And then I just start back here. And now, that's not what I do first. Hold on. I'm getting ahead of myself. I do this first. I put a little piece of, this is just a piece of butcher paper. I can't talk. Piece of butcher paper. And I put that down first so that my glue doesn't go onto the other pages. These first ones are the ones that are a little bit more trouble to glue down because they are kind of stuck together at the bottom anyway. I don't know exactly why they do that, but they do. Just make sure you get your edges, all of your corners, that kind of thing. Oops. I'm just really making a mess here, aren't I? And then you want to glue those down. Now, I'm going to take, the other ones won't be this hard to glue, believe me. I'm going to lay it down flat, take my bone folder, and run over it. Now, I'm having to go easily on these because, like I said, this is a very fragile paper. But just make sure that that glue is spread out real well. Now, these are going to try to curl with you because you're putting down a glue that's got some water in it. But you can just, when you get finished putting a few pages together, you get finished for the day, put something, close it up, put something heavy on the top, and they'll be fine the next day. I am actually going to, I want to glue, trying to decide how I want to do. I know I want that one and that one glued together, and I don't want that image, so I'm going to glue all these together. And I made a mess with my glue, so don't make a mess with your glue, but other than that, and I'm not going to spritz this one with water just to see what the difference is going to be. Sometimes when you don't, it'll soak up the glue so fast. Now, these journals can be used for lots and lots of different things. You can use this for your art journal. You can use it for your regular journals, like we put, you know, pockets and pages and things in them and decorate them up. You can do that with it. You can use it for a bullet journal, just a journal that you sit down and make notes in. I mean, you can use this for tons of different things. You don't have to just use it for an art journal. A lot of people make these and they say, I'm making my art journal. Well, you don't have to use it just for an art journal. You can use it for just about anything. And I'll be decorating my pages up, so I'll be using mine like that. I'm going to put a book over here just to kind of hold that up. So grab out, if you don't have PVA glue, like I said, I'll link the one I use below, and it's very inexpensive. It's not expensive at all. I get it on Amazon. We don't sell it because I can't find it wholesale, but I get mine on Amazon, and it's not expensive. And you can use it for any project. You don't have to use it just for something like this. You can also use it for your regular glue. If you want to put it in a glue bottle and use it for regular glue, you can. If you want to put, you know, lace and trims and things on, you can use it for that too. So there's lots of different ways you can use PVA glue. It's not just for bookbinding. That's just its specialty, but that's not the only thing that it does. Now, I'm an over gluer, as most everybody knows. I put lots of glue on because I don't want my pages to come apart. So I'm an over gluer, but you don't have to put quite as much as I'm putting on there. Just make sure you get it all the way covered. And I do glue my pages together like this. I hold them up, and then I lay them down and I go over them with my bone folder. But just make sure you don't have any bubbles in it, and you get all the pages, all of the page covered well. It doesn't stick to your other page. Okay, so we've got those two done. And like I said, look at me. I'm an over gluer, and they're going to be soppy until it dries, but this is going to dry clear, and you're not going to see all this stuff on there. If you want to put something between your pages, you can. This is going to be my first page. And then trying to decide which way I wanted to do this. I think I'm going to put washi right there and glue this page down here. So on this one, I think what I will do is make a little tuck pocket with this one. And another thing, don't put all of your pockets on the same side. Don't glue all of them, or don't fold all of them over here. Make sure you fold some over here too. That way it makes your book more even. Okay, let me wipe this off. You're making such a mess, Edith Ray. That's why I got my wipey. And I do not decorate the front of mine until I finish, because as you can see, if I had already decorated the front, I would have a mess. Okay. Yeah, these are very brittle. They're actually just cracking a little bit, which is probably not the best idea that I use these. But it's already done now, so I'm not going to worry about it. We'll try it out anyway, aren't we? See if I can fold this another way. Maybe I can save an old brittle book. You never know. I tell you, putting a little bit of water on your brush helps too. And I didn't put water on mine first, but that helps a lot too. So I just kind of sit down here and got started. Okay, so we got that folded over, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue it down through here and down through here. And on that part, I am going to use my Barely Arts, because it needs to be a little bead down through there. And then I do want to punch this, and I forgot to punch it. And it's wet, so I don't know if it's going to punch right or not. Well, it did. And I also want to ink my edges just so that they'll stand out. Do all of this before you put your glue on. Don't do like Edith does. I'm going to ink my pages so they'll stand out more. Or ink my pocket. Okay, and then we're going to glue that down there and there. Okay, so we have a side tuck pocket there. And then on this side, we're going to fold, oops, I can't fold that the other way. Okay, we're going to leave it folded that way. It's not a big deal because I can cover that with something. And then we're going to put our glue here and here. As I said, I don't do this the traditional way. Some people would say, you can't put a pocket there and there. Well, you can if you want to. This is your journal. You can do what you want to do with it. Okay, and then I want to glue this page to that page because I don't want this image to have to cover up or deal with. So, don't forget your stuff. Edith always forgets her stuff, but don't forget your stuff. And I'll tell you something else that's good to use instead of parchment paper. If you've got any backings where you have made stickers or something, you know, those backings from your sticker sheets, save those. They resist the glue, and then you can use them for things like this. I've got a few in my drawer, I think. Yeah, this is really soaking up this glue, so I would probably spritz my pages a little bit just to keep it from soaking up so much of your glue. And to keep them from tearing. It'll also keep your pages from tearing, because if you make them where they're not so brittle, then they don't tear as easy. Okay? So, whoops. Didn't pull that up good. There we go. Okay. Get that out. There we go. Got another one glued together. So we have, let me see if I can go back here. These are trying to stick together, so I'll probably put something between them. Got that glued together, those glued together. That one has a pocket on it, that one has a pocket. And then we're up to this. And I am going to skip a page, this page, because I want to do some kind of spread on that. And then I'm also going to skip this page, I think. Or maybe, I tell you what, this is what we're going to do on this page. I just had a brain, I don't know, my kids call it an ugly word, but I just had a revelation. Let me call it that. Revelation. That doesn't look like it folds straight. And I don't really think that it does, but it's going to have to do. Because I can't fool with these pages too much because they like to tear. I think we're going to do that. We'll have a pocket here and a pocket here. So I just folded this page down a little bit and we'll glue that. And then I folded this one down a little bit more and we'll have a staggered pocket. So let's go ahead and do our stuff on this first. You have to excuse my hand and cringing. I got a cortisone shot in my hand, in the middle of my palm yesterday for my trigger finger, so it's sore today. But my finger's not hurting. Alright, let's glue this part down. And I think I'm just going to try my Barely Arts on this, just because it's a small area. And I don't want to put out any more glue right now. It'll work well. And you can put your Barely Arts out on a something like this and use it too. You don't have to use it out of the bottle. It's easier to do this kind of thing with a brush. Okay, so those two. Cute, cute, cute. Alright, we're going to put a little glue right here. A little glue right here. And we're going to glue that down. Like that. And then I'm going to put a little glue right here. Glue right here. Now this is the one where I tore out all the pages. So this one's going to be, hopefully it won't be difficult. Let's see. See, when I fold it over this way, it's going to try to be difficult. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to try to glue it with it standing up. And let's see. That makes it better. Okay, we'll do it that way. And I'm going to tell you, since these are brittle pages, if you're using some dried out pages, it will take more glue than normal, even though I'm a heavy hander. I think that'll work. Yeah, that's going to work there. So then we got a double pocket there. And then you can just skip how many pages you want. I think I might glue those two pages together because I don't want this to be the pages to be so fragile, because we're going to be decorating on them and putting elements on them and things. So I'm probably going to glue two of those together, and then I'll do some type of pocket or something with this one. And then the same thing here, probably glue two together, and then with this do some kind of pocket or something. So there's where I tore them out. Some of these I'll go in and try to take a little bit more of that out, and some of them I will just simply cover up with washi or whatever. But that is kind of how you get started. So I want you guys, and you can see how it's going to look. Let me get that glue right there before it decides it wants to stick. You can see kind of how it's going to look. And then once we get all this decorating done in here, it's going to be a nice full journal. And it's going to be beautiful. I love this cover. I don't know if I'll probably put something on the cover, but I'm not going to cover the whole thing up because this peach and cream is beautiful to me. And I don't mind that on there at all either. If we wanted to, we could cut little squares and type something out and put over these, but I don't know. I don't know what I'll do with the cover yet. That'll be at the end. But that's kind of how you get started. So go ahead and grab an old book out, tear you some pages out, and let's get started. And you and I will come back and we will start decorating these together. And we'll do both of them. We'll do this one, and we'll just see which one turns out the best. All right, guys, that is it for the video today. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you will give it a try. Go over to Skillshare and watch the videos that I will link below, and also we'll put a little clip on the screen for. And if you have not already joined Skillshare, if you want to join me in learning any kind of craft or trade that you want to, be one of the first 500 people to use my link in the description, or you can scan this QR code right here on the screen and you will receive 1 month free trial to Skillshare. All right, guys, we will talk to you later. Thank you again, Skillshare, for sponsoring this video. Bye-bye.